The Department of Public Health and Human Services is pleased to bring you Aging Horizons. Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security, fraud, legal issues, veterans benefits, and caregiving. Aging Horizons is a program dedicated to inform and prepare Montanans on these timely issues, making a difference to you and your loved ones. Here now is today's program host.
Welcome to Aging Horizons. Today we're going to be talking to Tessa Bailey, who is the Nutrition and Evidence-Based Program Manager at the state of Montana and the Governor's Conference on Aging Coordinator. She's going to be telling us all about that amazing program, where it is, who's going to be there, what type of speakers you can come and learn from, how you get registered, and if you want to sponsor a table, how you do that as well. You are not going to want to miss this, so make sure you stay tuned.
I have so many questions about power of attorney.
Well, some powers of attorney are for finances and others are for healthcare decisions.
A power of attorney designates an agent who would make decisions on your behalf.
While making a power of attorney, you have the ability to control your agent's power.
You also have the ability to decide when that POA would take effect.
Wait, am I giving away all my rights?
Power of attorney isn't a license to make any decision for you, just those that you've specified.
Your agent should be somebody that's working in your best interest, but it should also be somebody that you would trust.
What if they try to abuse their power?
Protective measures like third-party accounting, secondary signatures, defined spending and gifting limits can help protect against financial exploitation. An agent's powers can always be limited by a customized power of attorney, and they can be revoked by you or the court if the power of attorney is abused.
So carefully drafted estate planning documents can help ensure that your finances are monitored, but not abused.
If you or someone you know is being exploited, please report to Aging Services Bureau at 844-277-9300 or the Legal Service Developer at 1-800-332-2272. This message sponsored by the DPHHS Aging Service Bureau.
I think the most pleasant surprise when we turned 65 and signed up for Medicare Part B was finding out about our Welcome to Medicare preventive visit.
It was free, and it gave us the opportunity to visit with our doctors and establish a plan for our health going forward.
They reviewed our medical history, measured our height, weight, blood pressure, and counseled us on other risk factors.
To learn more about Medicare's free or low-cost preventive and wellness benefits, call your local SHIP counselor at 800-551-3191. I mentioned it's free, right?
Twice.
This is Bill. He just received his new Medicare card and is following some simple rules to protect himself from fraud. He knows to never give out his Medicare, Social Security, or bank number over the phone. And this is Nancy. She knows that to detect any problems, she always reads her Medicare Summary Notice or Medicare Advantage EOB to make sure the billing is correct. Both Bill and Nancy know that anything suspicious can be reported to Montana SMP at 1-800-551-3191.
Welcome to Aging Horizons, brought to you by the Department of Public Health and Human Services. I'm your host, Katie Lovell, and today we're going to be speaking with Tessa Bailey, who's the Nutrition and Evidence-Based Program Manager at the state of Montana, and you're also the Governor's Conference Coordinator this year.
Yes, that's correct.
So Tessa, tell me a little bit about what you do for the state of Montana.
Well, I am a registered dietitian and I oversee all the nutrition programs in the Aging Services Bureau, and so anything that has to do with the congregate meals at senior centers, home delivered meals, and also the evidence-based programs that are funded through those programs as well, such as Stepping On or the SAIL program or any of the physical activity programs.
Wonderful. And you're also planning this year's Governor's Conference.
Yes, that's right.
And this is the 54th year of the conference, right?
54th year of the conference, and it will. It's put on by the Governor's Advisory Council on Aging, along with our state unit on aging with the Department of Public Health, and it will be in Great Falls.
And I know each year they have kind of a fun theme. What's this year's theme?
This year's theme is Aging Unbound. And so that offers the opportunity to explore the diverse aging experiences that all older Americans and older citizens have, and discuss how the communities can combat the stereotypes of aging.
And when we think about the conference, what's the goal? What's the mission of the conference?
It's to offer information and education to all the citizens, particularly older citizens, but for any citizens really, and then their families, caregivers, and anybody in the support field, for them to offer any of the information.
Sure. I love the conference. I've been many times. What kind of audience are we aiming for when we look at the Governor's Conference?
Perfect. Obviously, any older citizens, older attendees, adults, persons with disabilities, and that can be any age, and then caregivers as well as service providers. So anybody of those, or just anybody that wants to learn a little bit more as the topics of as you would get older.
Sure. You know, a lot of people have parents that are maybe aging.
Exactly.
A lot of people are, well, I mean, we're all aging ourselves, so there's not too soon of a time to start getting a jump on some of these topics.
That is right.
When we talk about the topics, what are we going to be talking about this year?
Sure. Well, we cover topics relevant to all of the people who are dealing with aging and disabilities. So some of the topics that we have planned are estate planning and nutrition and anything that can deal with that.
That sounds wonderful. How is the Governor's Conference funded? Does Greg just write us a check? How do we get this money?
Right. Well, it's totally funded by corporate and individual sponsors. We have vendors and just individual registrations.
That's wonderful. So what is the registration fee for this year's conference?
It is $75, and that includes lunch both days of the conference.
Wonderful. So you get 2 meals out of that.
2 meals out of that.
And then they're full days, both days of the conference?
Yes, full days, both days. Yes.
That's wonderful. And then there's an opportunity for organizations that want to be part of the conference. How do organizations be part of the conference?
Sure. Well, they can go to our conference website, and there is links on there for sponsoring the conference, or if you'd like to have a vendor or an exhibitor booth as well. So those will be posted on our website of how to sign up for that.
And those booths, do people have time to sort of walk through the vendor booths, things like that?
They will be set up for both days. So any breaks that will happen during the conference, any of like the 15-minute breaks over lunch, after the conference ends, especially on the first day, lots of time for people to go through all the vendor booths and get all the good information from everybody.
Really great way to network, maybe meet some of the resources in your community. And are those going to be mostly local Great Falls businesses, or will they be statewide organizations too?
We have a variety. We have several that will be local to Great Falls, and several that are throughout the whole state. That are vendors that you could use throughout the whole state, such as Stockman Bank or the McLaughlin Research Center. And so they are statewide, but we will also have vendors that will be specific to Great Falls and the area around Great Falls.
Wonderful. So you get the resources that are both in your community and then the ones that can help you no matter where you live.
That's correct.
I know you mentioned that the conference is in Great Falls, but where in Great Falls is the conference taking place?
Sure. It's going to be at the Holiday Inn Convention Center.
Okay.
And it'll be on October 3rd and 4th.
Wonderful. So hopefully you will be slightly cooler.
Yes. Very much.
Wonderful. And then about how many people do we expect each year?
We're averaging about 150 attendees, 150 to 200 attendees each year. So it just kind of varies. But yeah, usually have a great turnout with some really great speakers.
Yeah, that's a really wonderful, if you're a business in that community, it's a really large group of the people that you may be wanting to be chatting with.
Exactly. You really are going to reach a lot of people within the Great Falls community and the surrounding area and the state.
That's really awesome. And then they do some sort of minutes or something after the conference, right? Some sort of write-up about what we talked about, things like that.
Yep, all the minutes will be wrote up, and these can be posted on our State Unit on Aging website that everybody can see.
And on that website, is there a list of the speakers that are going to be presenting?
Right now, there is a draft agenda up there. We're still finalizing a couple of the small little pieces as we have a couple months to go. But yes, there is a draft agenda that you can see with the speakers, the specific speakers that are coming, and all of the topics being discussed.
That's wonderful. And that website people can really just go to and sort of check out, mill around, see what's going to be there, and then sign up to sponsor or register, correct?
That is correct. The website has it all, right? Pretty much on the first page.
Well, when we get back, I really want to talk about my favorite part of the conference, which is the centenarian lunch, and just talk all about how wonderful that part of the program is.
Yes.
So when we get back, we're going to talk about the centenarian lunch and how you can come and see some of Montanans who have made it to 100 or past and get a little bit of their secrets on how they've done so. It's one of my very favorite parts of the whole year. It's really a wonderful experience. So make sure you stay tuned because you're not going to want to miss that discussion.
With as many as 1 in 10 Americans at risk for Alzheimer's or some other form of dementia, chances are someone you know and love will receive that diagnosis. When that happens, you may well feel devastated, but know that you are not alone. Help is available. You don't have to face dementia by yourself. Call the free 24/7 Alzheimer's Association helpline, 800-272-3900, for guidance and support.
It's been 27 years. I never thought I'd still be smoking, but here I am, COPD and all. I'm about to have a granddaughter. There's so much to show her, but I'm scared I won't be able to keep up like I used to. I kind of gave up on myself on quitting. But it's different now. I want to be here for her and for my daughter.
This is Sergeant Jones. Please respond. I was separated from my squad. Requesting backup. Anyone? Please respond. I'm all alone here.
Every generation produces heroes, men and women who step forward to defend our country in time of need, no matter the personal cost to themselves. And though we can never fully repay them, we can make sure they have access to low-cost, long-term care when they need it. That's what Montana's Veterans Homes are all about. If you've got a hero in need in your family, call us. We can help.
Welcome back to Aging Horizons. We are speaking with Tessa Bailey, who is the Nutrition and Evidence-Based Program Manager for the state of Montana, and she's also the coordinator for the Governor's Conference on Aging. So we are going to talk about my favorite part of the conference, which is the Centenarian Luncheon. So tell us what that is.
Well, the Centenarian Luncheon is to honor any centenarian, anybody that's 100 or over in Montana, for their long and wonderful life that they have lived and contributed to our state.
That is so, and it's such a great program. So do the centenarians contact our office? Do we reach out through birth records? How do we find these people?
Right. Well, on our website for the conference, there is a link for the centenarians and their family members, caregivers, anybody, or the centenarian themselves can fill out the form and either submit that online to us, or they can print it out, fill it out that way, and mail it in to us as well.
And what's on that form? What do we ask of them?
We ask basic things, birth date, sure, of course, because we want anybody that will be 100 by at least December 31st of sure, this year qualifies, but you can be over 100 as well. And so, but also different things about, if you have children, what was some fun stories growing up? Where were you born? Where do you live now? Anything about your career, your education, or anything that's just really fun and interesting that you've led through your life.
And then what do we do with that information?
So we keep that information and we make a little booklet up for the Centenarian Luncheon and for the conference. All attendees will get that to look over all of the centenarians that they have for this year. And so but we also send that in to the governor, the information, and they will sign a certificate and we will mail that to each of the centenarians. So they'll get a signed certificate from the governor as well.
Is there a cost to submit that form?
No, not at all. And we would love the centenarians, if they are able, to attend the luncheon at the conference. And we also pay for them. Their cost for the luncheon is covered along with a guest, but also their cost to come to the conference for a room at the hotel with a guest is covered as well.
Wonderful, because I imagine traveling at over 100 can be a little bit challenging.
That is right, yeah.
How many centenarians do we usually get at the conference?
Well, the conference has varied from anywhere from 6 to 26 at the actual luncheon. And then last year we had a total of 28 submit. Sure. Not all attended the conference, but we can have anywhere from 28 to 50 submit for the for the booklet and just for getting a certificate from the governor.
Montanans are really living long these days.
They are.
That's wonderful. And that booklet is just such a fun souvenir from the conference. I just absolutely love flipping through it.
It is so fun to read about everybody's stories, and they've all lived such amazing lives.
Yeah.
This year we can highlight, we have a husband and wife duo. He is 102 and she is 100, and they have been married for 80 years this past July.
That is so amazing.
Yes.
I can't even imagine a lifetime of memories that they'll have to share
Their
with us.
story is pretty incredible.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
So, on top of the Centenarian Luncheon, there are so many other great speakers. So, who is the keynote speaker for this year's conference?
Sure. Our keynote speaker, we have a couple, but Paul Greenwood is one of our keynote speakers, and he has been at the conference before. He has spoke many places within the country. He is an AARP ambassador, and he's a former elder abuse prosecutor for San Diego. So he has quite the experience. And then he is working as a consultant for the Montana Adult Protective Services.
He is so interesting. I've heard him speak a number of times. He's just one of the country's experts on elder fraud and abuse, and just so fascinating.
Yes, yes. So he's going to be a great one to tune into.
He's got a lot of really great jokes built into his speech too, so he's not just all gloom and doom, which is really lovely.
Which is good, because it's a heavy topic.
Yeah, absolutely. What are some of the other breakout sessions going to be about?
Perfect. Well, we have estate planning, and then we have the landlord-tenant, different legal agreements with that, healthy meals on a budget, and different areas for nutrition as you get older, suicide prevention, Alzheimer's research. There's a Dementia Live simulation where you can actually simulate what it feels like to have dementia, which is pretty interesting. People talking about the Alzheimer's Memory Cafe and how that is helping people with Alzheimer's.
Wonderful.
And the Big Sky Waiver Program and the Montana Office of Consumer Protection.
So you can really kind of build your schedule around the topics that you're interested in. If you want to have a lighter day, you could do some of like the nutrition, stuff like that. If you want to have a little bit more some of those heavier topics, you could do the suicide prevention. And I love that we're highlighting the Alzheimer's research. That's really interesting. Do you have an idea about sort of where the backgrounds of a lot of these presenters are coming from? Are they Montana folks? Or are they folks coming from out of the country? Where are we getting these folks?
We have a few coming from around the country. A lot are Montana folks. The McLaughlin Research is going to be doing the one on a lot of the memory or the Alzheimer's research.
Wonderful.
They have some pretty cool research coming through that. And so we have it spans everybody from in-state to out-of-state.
Just a lot of experts in the field.
Exactly.
That's really wonderful. And this is going to be 2 full days of educational material, right? So when folks come, they'll have those luncheons, but they'll also have all of those time to hear the speakers, correct?
That is correct. 2 full days.
That's wonderful. When we get back, I want to talk a little bit about another really cool part of the conference, which are those mini grants. And then I want to remind folks about how they register. So when we get back, we are going to go over the mini grants. We're going to talk a little bit about how people win those grants and what that money is used for. And we're going to remind you again how to register for the conference, how to sign up as a sponsor, and how to sign up as a centenarian or to submit someone's application. So you're not going to want to miss that, and you're not going to want to miss this conference. So once again, we're going to put that website on the screen so that you can see it. You can get there and get registered, because that Centenarian Luncheon, I swear it's worth it just to read that booklet. Is so fun. And then there are going to be so many interesting presenters, from guests that we've interviewed here on Aging Horizons to experts all over the field in these different topic areas. So make sure you stay tuned. We'll be back in just a minute.
You've probably seen some big-name celebrities on your TV lately talking about all the Medicare benefits you're missing out on. But the insurance companies who are paying for these ads may be pushing benefits not available in Montana. Fortunately, help is available from a friendly state health insurance assistance program counselor who can help you sort it all out. It's free, and we screen everyone for eligibility regardless of your zip code. It's Montanans helping Montanans. Call today.
Today, class, we'll be discussing the term ombudsman, a word we borrowed from the Swedes and never gave back. Say you're a resident or you have a loved one in long-term care. Now, what do you do if you're not happy with the care and services you receive? You call your long-term care ombudsman, of course. Your ombudsman is available to support you and your rights. An advocate on your behalf could be the ticket. This is your home. If you have questions, the numbers right there below me have all the answers. Class dismissed.
I was diagnosed with diabetes in 1992 and I went into denial. It made me angry. I was a professional chef and I didn't want to change my eating style. It took me a long time to get serious about managing my health. My perspective changed from resentment to one of loving my body, the container for my spirit. Getting help from my diabetes educator supported my goals of improved self-care. I want to feel good and have a great life. My diabetes educator helps me do this.
More fuels, more fires, more fear. You don't have to live in the forest to be threatened by wildfire. In 18 years, the number of fires per year has increased by 1,000 and tripled the acreage burned. Turn it around. Advocate for forest management. Form a group. Craft a plan. Mitigate the fire hazard. You and your community can't dismiss the trend, but you can mitigate the risk. FireSafeMT.org can help. Paid for by FireSafe Helena and aired by the Montana Broadcasters Association.
Welcome back to Aging Horizons. Today we're speaking with Tessa Bailey, who is the Nutrition and Evidence-Based Program Manager at the state of Montana, and she's also the coordinator for this year's Governor's Conference. So Tessa, we talked about some of the great speakers, we talked about the Centenarian Luncheon, but I want to talk about another really wonderful part of this program, which are the mini grants. So what is a mini grant?
Right. So the mini grants, the purpose of them, the Governor's Advisory Council on Aging has developed the mini grant program, and it helps facilitate the upfront funding for innovative ideas that will serve the seniors' interest in rural Montana.
Okay, so what type of organizations are receiving these mini grants?
So really it can be eligible activities including training, education, senior centers can apply for these, which would be a good majority since they do a lot of those type of education and trainings in their communities. But anything that can be a development or enhancement of support services in your community as well.
So if they have just an innovative project idea that they want to fund and maybe need a little bit of extra cash, it's an opportunity to do that, correct?
Yes, that is correct. We award amounts from anywhere from $200 to $1,000.
Okay, so enough to get a project off the ground, but maybe not something, we're not building buildings with these mini grants.
That's correct. It's an innovative idea, but it's within a realm, but it's an innovative that you can use for anything, whether that be to fund anything for meals for seniors or to any training or enhancement activities that you would like to fund.
So what are the eligibility criteria? Who can apply for these mini grants?
Programs that are in the communities under 10,000 people. So our rural communities.
Which is a lot of Montana.
Most of Montana.
Most of the East, I'm sure.
Yeah, most of Montana, just
exactly,
in general.
Absolutely. Yeah. And when is the deadlines to apply for these mini grants?
Sure. So the deadlines to apply would be September 1st.
Okay.
And all that information is on our conference website for the mini grant and their application.
So we're still accepting all of those applications all the way up through September. Mm-hmm. That's wonderful. That really gives people a lot of time to apply for those. And then is that presented at the conference? Do we get to know who gets the mini grant?
We do. It is presented at the conference. Like I said, the Governor's Advisory Council on Aging will pick out of all of the applicants. But yes, all of that is awarded at the conference.
And then how are these mini grants funded? Where does this money come from?
Sure. So the grants are supported through the silent auction that will happen at the conference. So lots of great items that people donate, whether it be local communities are donating them, the rural senior centers or the area agencies on aging go through that. But anybody can donate silent auction items and all that money goes towards the mini grants.
So you're telling me that there's also an opportunity to shop at this conference.
Exactly, exactly, with some pretty great stuff.
Well, I'll make sure I bring my checkbook then because I love the silent auction. I've got so many wonderful cards that Marcia Getting donates. I mean, just so many really cool things that are donated to that silent auction.
Yes.
So when we talk about the mini grants, we've talked about the centenarians. Tell me one more time, where would people get that information?
Well, that is on our website, on our State Unit on Aging website, but our conference website. And I know that'll be listed here.
And if people are just not feeling comfortable using the web, how do they get in touch with you?
Sure, they can give me a call personally at my office, which is 444-6061.
Wonderful. That way, if people are just not comfortable, and then we could send them a form, or they can get signed up there. That's
and I can help them through the process if they need help, or send them a form to fill out, and then they could mail back to us as well.
And the conference is what days?
It is October 3rd and 4th in Great Falls this year at the Holiday Inn Convention Center.
And if someone wants to register, what's the registration fee?
The registration fee is $75, which includes lunch both days and the centenarian lunch, which is the first day.
And the centenarians don't have to pay that fee, correct?
That is correct.
Wonderful.
Yes.
And then if you want to sponsor, what type of sponsorship levels are available for folks who want to sponsor, maybe as an organization or as a business?
Sure. Well, we have all sorts of sponsor levels. We have anybody that wants to just sponsor an ad in the conference booklet.
Sure.
The conference program, I should say. And then we have anywhere from you want to sponsor at a bronze level, which is $1,000, to up to a platinum level, which is $2,500. And those different ranges include complimentary registrations for the conference. You get an exhibit booth, and you get your ad in the conference program along with your logo on the website as well.
And those exhibit booths, they're a really great way to network. And you said those are up both days, correct?
Those are up both days, and yes, it is a great way to network, get your word out about your business, about anything that you can do to help support this population that comes to this conference. It's a great way to get out and have everybody tell the word.
That's wonderful. And if folks are coming from out of town, is there a way that they can stay at the hotel that the conference is being held at?
Yes. So on our website, there's a link directly to the hotel to get the rate for the rooms that will be blocked off for the conference. But yes, you just stay directly at the hotel where all the action is.
And those group rates are so nice for people to be able to get out there and be able to afford that wonderful trip.
Yes.
So that is wonderful. I know we're going to put that website up one more time. And then again, if folks are seeing this before September 1st, they need to apply for those mini grants if they're a senior center or a small organization like that.
Yes.
I remember my favorite mini grant was a senior center that was using the money to buy toy kits for folks with dementia to help build the toys and then donate to Toys for Tots, which I mean, just all of the wonderful work happening in these small communities is so amazing.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing how innovative that all of these communities can get with their funding and the great things that they do with it.
Absolutely. And there are so many really interesting presenters coming to this year's conference, and you said that agenda is available on the website as well too.
That is right. The draft agenda is up there, and we will hopefully get the actual agenda posted here pretty soon. We're just finalizing a few little details. But pretty much everything on the draft agenda is up there, and you can see the different speakers and all the different breakout sessions.
That really gives you an opportunity too to come with questions. If you know what sessions you want to listen to, you can really plan it out and think ahead.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's wonderful. Yeah. Well, that gives our viewers a little bit of homework. It gives them a chance to go to that website and get registered. So again, we're going to put that website on the screen. So make sure you get there. Make sure you get registered. Make sure if you are a business organization that you sign up to sponsor, because you're really going to have a lot of opportunity to talk to Montana seniors, caregivers, and professionals working in the field. So make sure you get registered, make sure you stay tuned to Aging Horizons, and thank you for being here.
Special thanks to the Department of Public Health and Human Services for their continued support. Hosts on Aging Horizons are program specialists at the Montana Office on Aging. Production facilities provided by Video Express Productions. For more information about Aging Horizons, call the Department of Public Health and Human Services toll-free at 800-332-2272.